I am delighted to welcome you all to iDR25 Medicines Reimagined, the second International Drug Repurposing Conference, co-organised by Remedy for All and Beacon for Rare Diseases. My name is Mary Rose, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Beacon for Rare Diseases. Some of you may know us for our work supporting the rare disease community, but today I want to talk to you a little bit about another part of who we are, why we're not just a beacon for rare diseases, but also a beacon for drug repurposing. Because for many people in the rare disease community, drug repurposing is their only hope. But first, who exactly are we? Well, Beacon is a UK-based charity with a vision for a world in which no one faces their rare disease journey alone. We're a small team but have a mighty mission to build a united community with patient groups at its heart. But why do we believe that patient groups need to be at the heart of this community? It's pretty simple. They are the experts in their conditions because they live the reality of this every single day. They know what really matters and can help ensure that the research is focused on the right priorities. They also have the trust of their communities, which is absolutely essential for anyone wanting to conduct meaningful patient engagement. And because society is already letting so many of these patients down, patient group leaders are some of the most resilient and relentless individuals you will ever meet. But most importantly, patient groups need to be at the heart of this community because nothing about them should be happening without them. And when patient groups are at the heart of things, they drive real, meaningful, and impactful change. A brilliant example of that, and what started Beacon's own journey in repurposing, is the AKU Society. Now, the AKU Society and the story starts with Nick. Nick is the CEO and chair of the AKU Society, which is a UK patient group supporting patients living with alkaptonuria. Nick is also the founder of Beacon for Rare Diseases. Now, Nick's journey began in the early 2000s when his two eldest children, Julian and Daniel, were diagnosed as babies with alkaptonuria. For those of you who don't know, AKU is an ultra-rare, genetic, progressive, and debilitating condition that leads to severe early onset osteoarthritis. It's sometimes known as black bone disease. It causes severe pain, brittle bones, and a range of serious health complications. It usually shows up in adulthood, so many people don't even know that they are diagnosed with alkaptonuria until they reach their early 20s or 30s. Now, at the time that his sons were diagnosed, there was no support for AKU, there was no treatment, and there were only 4 known patients in the UK. And like many rare disease patients, Nick faced an unimaginable future for his children, so he decided to take action. He discovered that there was a new patient organisation forming, led by a patient called Robert Gregory and a consultant at Liverpool Hospital, Professor Ranganath, and Nick decided to join the team. Together, Nick and Ranga began digging into the science and history of AKU. They started building partnerships, but also realised they needed to find out just how many people were affected. They launched a study and discovered over 1,500 patients worldwide. It was also around this time that they found research suggesting that a drug called nitisinone, which was already licensed for tyrosinemia type 1, might have potential as a treatment for AKU. That discovery spurred them on, and they brought together an international consortium of 12 European partners to form Develop a Cure. They secured £8 million in funding to run a series of phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials. And between 2013 and 2019, they recruited 140 patients. At the end of those trials, the results showed that nitisinone significantly slowed disease progression and in many cases also improved symptoms. 6 years on from those trials, nitisinone is now approved and reimbursed for AKU across much of Europe, and the AKU Society is pushing for continued access in more countries. But ultimately, what started as a disease with no answers now has a treatment, one that's changing the lives of Nick's sons, who are now in their 20s, but also so many others around the world. But the story doesn't end there. Nitisinone, having already been repurposed for AKU, is now being explored for other uses as well, including a fascinating study looking at how it can help control insect-borne infectious diseases. And if you're curious about that, you can join us in the Blue Room later this afternoon to find out more. But why have I shared this story? Because it shows us what's possible. The AKU example proves that drug repurposing can transform treatment options for rare diseases and in a relatively short time frame. It shows us that cross-sector partnerships are absolutely vital, but more importantly, it proves that patient groups are essential if we want to make real, meaningful change. So where does Beacon fit into all of this? Well, we were founded by Nick to help other patient groups do exactly what the AKU Society did, to grow, collaborate, and to reach their goals. And for most patient groups, the ultimate goal is a treatment and better outcomes for their community. And for rare diseases, drug repurposing is often the most realistic, cost-effective, and timely way to get there. So since 2012, we've been championing drug repurposing for rare diseases. We've hosted 9 drug repurposing conferences in the UK, showcasing the power, potential, and opportunity that repurposing holds. In 2002, we became a partner in the Remedy for All Consortium, working to keep patients at the centre of every step. And last year, we teamed up to deliver the first International Drug Repurposing Conference, iDR24, bringing attention to repurposing not just for rare diseases, but the wider health community as well. Which brings us to today. After the success of last year's conference, Beacon is delighted once again to be partnering with Remedy for All for iDR25. We've got a fantastic program lined up across the next couple of days, and I hope you will thoroughly enjoy being here. I'm now going to hand over to Anton, who's going to tell you a little bit more about Remedy for All and what this year's conference has in store. Thank you very much.